Hey everyone, I thought I'd share some thoughts I have collected regarding exam anxiety. I apologize in advance if you hear my children in the background. They're gallivanting about, and from time to time they are quite vocal about that. So if they show up, I apologize. So let's start by talking about what exam anxiety is and what it's not. Some nervousness before, during an exam is good. It's fine. It can sharpen your thinking, it can sharpen your focus. However, exam anxiety is different, and it isn't productive. It commonly includes a physiological reaction, i.e., the flight or fight mechanism, or the fight or flight mechanism. And that activation of your sympathetic nervous system causes your heart to race, causes your breathing to shallow, causes you to sweat, and there are corresponding changes in the brain that impact your thinking. You think about things more superficially. You think about things very quickly and not thoroughly. So, in a context of an exam, it's something you want to avoid if you can. Some of the best ways to avoid anxiety on exam day are things that you can do before exam day. First, of course, you're going to spend time preparing. The best way to feel calm on exam day is to know the material, to having thought about the material and all the interrogative ways that we discussed, by probing your understanding, by synthesizing the material into your own understanding. All of those things will make you calmer because you've prepared for this moment. Another set of things that you can do before exam day is develop healthy habits. And that includes sleep habits. Getting 8 hours, 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night is, for many people, absolutely crucial. And when you get that sleep matters. So if you're going to be taking exams in the morning and you aren't a morning person, spend some time starting about now to become a morning person. Integrate exercise into your routine, even if it's simply walking, something to allow your body to get rid of some of this nervous energy really is in a lot of ways what you're accomplishing there. Another way of managing nervous energy is meditation and or prayer, I should add. And I don't want to tell you how to do those things, but know that by practicing mindful techniques like those and practicing those habitually, you'll develop a different way of approaching difficulties and problems. And finally, incidentally, that different way is a little more productive than it might otherwise be if you don't employ those techniques. Finally, developing healthy study habits relates back to the first point. The better study habits you have, that means the more practice you'll undertake. The more practice you undertake, the more comfortable you'll be. Here's another suggestion for you. If you have exam anxiety and know that you do, try to desensitize yourself to that exam stress. Take practice exams under as close to exam conditions as you can. Be where you're going to be when you take the exam. Try to have the level of distractions that you're concerned about present so that you can manage them or learn how to manage them. If you are concerned about running out of time, all these things you can manage under in a circumstance that doesn't have the real world impact of the exam. So take advantage of that. If you're concerned, whatever you're concerned about, recreate it there and try to address it. Just desensitize yourself to it, if nothing else. And if you have concerns, and I mean that as a broad capital C concerns beforehand, like, am I going to have internet? Am I going to have enough food to eat? Am I going to, whatever, have the appropriate materials? Is my computer going to make it? Address those things beforehand. If you have questions about the format, timing, word count, anything you can think of, make sure that to your satisfaction you address those questions beforehand, or know that your professor will address them in the instructions. Knowing that you'll get them at some point is fine. But put away as much of that extraneous lingering stress as you can. Make your plate clean for the task at hand, namely the exams. Moving to exam day, and just thinking about it conceptually, have a plan for the day of the exam. Really for all of the exam period. Don't go to get-go every night and get whatever their specialty sub is. The captain? Is it the captain now? I don't know what it is. But don't go down get-go and just eat that food every week. It ain't going to be real good for you. So have instead meals planned out. Even pre-made if possible. Only because, look, you aren't going to want to spend time watching stuff boil, staring forlornly into the, spinning tortellini, as you'd rather be studying. No, I mean, you really would rather have all that taken care of, insofar as you can. It's great to have it already off your plate, as it were. Know where you'll be taking your exam, whether it'll be at home, school, somewhere else, maybe at work in a conference room. I don't know, whatever is going to be appropriate for you. But also know the space where you'll be taking the exam. Is it going to be at your dining room table, in your room, in a study room, in a conference room, wherever else it may be? Know that beforehand, because making that decision on game day can be stressful. So avoid making it on game day. Make it beforehand, but have a plan. If something unexpected does come up, roll with it. Beforehand, you take care of the important things. Everything else is just something to manage. It's not really crucial. You want to be comfortable. You want to be homeostatically sound. In other words, water, temperature, all those, food, etc. So those are things you can plan for. Take care of that. Have a plan for the day of the exam. Now, during the exam itself, let's talk about that. Here are some general thoughts to keep in mind. Look, you have prepared for this exam. You've done practice questions, you've done readings, you've read cases, you've made outlines, you've done so many multiple choice, so many whatever other kinds of questions. You've studied alone, you've studied with friends. It's now time to own this. I'm not trying to be a rah-rah, positive thinking kind of person. But honestly, you've done the work. Now you're going to kick this thing's ass. That's how this goes. So trust in your training. And that really is a general theme. Trust in your prep. The reason I've told you to do things in certain ways is because they've been shown to work to generate effective exam answers. Those study techniques have been shown to be effective at permitting you to synthesize the material. And all of those techniques prepared you for now. So trust in that preparation. You know how to address these kinds of problems. Be methodical, be deliberate, go ahead and do it. Okay. Mechanistically, during the exam, what happens if you really do start to freak out? Well, here's a couple of thoughts and things that helped me. First, be mindful. If you've been practicing mindful techniques, mindful meditation, whatever it might be, it allows you to be a bit more present in the moment, ideally. And by doing so, you'll recognize that a lot of the stress that you feel regarding exams is based on things that are peripheral to the process that you have to perform. There, you're worried about how you'll think about yourself if you do poorly, how others will think about you, how job prospects may change. None of that will matter on exam day. It's best to just live in the moment, deal with the questions in front of you, and then afterwards go out and celebrate or prepare for the next one as is appropriate. Um, Here's another thing that I really strongly recommend, particularly if you have a physiological anxiety reaction. Um, Again, these are things that work for me. I'm by no means a medical doctor or a counselor, so these are just things that work for me. But when I'm encountering that kind of physiological response, I will practice slow breathing exercises. They're formulated in myriad different ways across the web, but all of them really emphasize breathing slowly, taking a long breath in and letting it out slowly. Different people have different counts. Some people say 4 count on the breathing in, 8 count on the breathing out. I tend to run out of breath for that, but whatever. I mean, the idea is to actually cause a slowing of your breathing, and what in part an anxiety response is, it's a positive feedback loop. Your brain says holy crap, your body says holy crap, and tells your brain to say more, flip out more. What this does is breaks that cycle. By breathing slowly, you cause certain steps in that process to not occur, and accordingly, you disrupt this fight or flight response. So, by breathing slowly, it's a simple thing. You can really be very effective in achieving a bit more of a calm demeanor. Second, have a plan. Have a strategy for how to attack questions when you go into the exam, so that when you sit down, you can make answer outlines based on the issue that you identify and the rule statement that you have. Once you do that, you have a roadmap for how to generate your answer. You run IRACs, mini IRACs on each of the elements within those rules. You assess all of that information together and then assess whether or not the overall issue is satisfied, or what, determine the final situation with regards to the overall issue. But what that outline and strategy provide you is an external driver. If you're having a very bad time, from an anxiety perspective, sometimes those external drivers where you say, okay, what do I have to do? Whatever the page tells me to do. That will calm you down. Making to-do lists will calm you down, perhaps. It works for me, calms me down at least. So really what an outline is, it's a mini to-do list in the context of an exam answer. If you use it to that end, it could be quite helpful for you. Finally, don't let a blank page intimidate you. Oh, I don't know what to say. It isn't going to sound smart. So what? Just put the words down. Look, it isn't Shakespeare. I say this so many times. It just doesn't matter if it reads well. It's great if it reads well. It matters somewhat. But most important in this process is demonstrating that you know how the law works. So what's the best way of doing that? Putting words on the page. Just do it. If you want to go back and make it sound more intelligent or better later on, bully for you, and go ahead, do that. But don't let a blank page intimidate you. Go after it. Just get it done. And finally, some students have suggested to me, and this isn't something I necessarily do, but having a physical fidgety device can help mitigate rising anxiety. Some people spin their and you can't see it obviously, but I'm one of these people. I spin my pen or pencil on my thumb. Some people have fidget spinners, or my wife has a little 6-sided die that has a light switch on one side, different fidgety tools all over it. Sometimes having that will give your hands something to do, as it said, and distract you from being anxious. Maybe it'll work for you. I only offer it as an option for you to try. And then finally, just remember that everything is fine. And I'm putting this in a Gothic font because that's sort of my sense of humor, I suppose. Everything is fine except it's all dark and dreary. But no, seriously, look, this is an exam. This isn't who you are, it's what you do. Everything is fine. This is just an exam process that you go through. And when you're done, you'll still be there, and everything you pick up where you left off before exams, and you can hopefully be vaccinated and go out and enjoy your summer like no other summer you've had before. So, if this is the last thing you listen to before exams, good luck. You're prepared. You're going to do very well on these things. I have full confidence in you.